Welcome to the Simplify Your Life podcast. It's Coach Simona, and I'm glad you decided to tune in. Hey everyone. In today's podcast episode, we're going to answer the question, why do I push people away? And I'm going to share with you 3 in-depth tips on how to stop pushing people away as a defense mechanism. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Simona, certified life coach and author of the book 111 Ways to Simplify Your Life. I make weekly podcast episodes on personal development, so if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to subscribe. Now, before we get into my 3 in-depth tips on how to stop pushing people away as a defense mechanism, I want to get to the root of the problem first. Let's answer the question you're probably already asking yourself, and that is, why do I push people away? There can be many reasons for pushing people away, ranging from personality disorders to just being more sensitive to criticism. In this episode, I'm not going to focus on diagnosing the problem or putting a label on it. I'm just going to share the most common reasons for pushing people away in my own experience as a coach. The first reason for pushing people away may be related to experiencing severe trauma growing up. When we push people away, that is a clear sign that we are afraid to be raw and vulnerable with them. We're trying to protect ourselves from harm because someone else hurt us deeply a long time ago. Trauma can have many faces. It can be related to not getting enough attention growing up, being abandoned, being betrayed by someone you trusted, or being physically or emotionally abused. All of these things can cause us to shut down and seek ways to push people away because we're too afraid of opening up, only to be crushed again, just like it happened many years ago. But we'll talk more about that later on in this episode. The second reason you may be pushing people away is because you think that you don't deserve love, you're a bad person, or you think that you're not good enough for them. This one is all about having low self-esteem, meaning you don't think very highly of yourself, you only focus on your weaknesses and are obsessed with comparing yourself to others. Pushing people away because you don't think you're good enough for them helps you justify that if they're gonna leave you for someone else, at least you get to decide when it happens. By pushing them away, you're proving to yourself that you were right all along, and you will end up alone no matter how much you try to make it work, just because you have this false belief that you're unworthy of love. This couldn't be further from the truth. And I made an entire video on my YouTube channel on how to build self-confidence as a woman. So if you're interested in that, you can watch it after this one by visiting youtube.com/Coach Simona. And the third reason for pushing people away is you're afraid of closeness, because you see it as losing your independence and you're afraid of enmeshment and engulfment. Okay, now let's explain each one of these things, since they all fall under the same category. When you push people away, you put space between them and yourself. Let's say you're not very good at communicating your boundaries. Pushing people away serves as a maladaptive way of putting the much-needed space between you and the other person. Now, what does fear of enmeshment or engulfment mean? It means you're afraid that you will lose yourself in your relationship, that this person will take away your freedom, and you will be suffocated by their constant need for love and affection. All of these reasons I just mentioned are actually connected to your attachment style. I'm not going to get too much into it today, because this topic deserves a separate episode, so let me know in the comments below if you're interested in that. But for the purposes of this episode, here is a brief explanation of attachment theory. According to the attachment theory in developmental psychology, humans are born with the need to form a close emotional bond with a caregiver. Psychologist Mary Ainsworth concluded that there were 3 major styles of attachment. The first one is secure attachment, and the other 2 types are different variations of insecure attachment, anxious and avoidant. Now let's examine each one of them. Securely attached people generally approach intimate relationships in a healthier way than the anxious and avoidant types, because they had a secure and loving relationship with their primary caretakers. Both the anxiously attached and avoidantly attached individuals couldn't bond properly with their parents or caregivers, but they developed 2 very different coping mechanisms. Although there are certain exceptions, attention-seeking behavior is often linked to anxious attachment, while pulling away and suppressing are signs of avoidant attachment. So in a nutshell, when answering the question, why do I push people away, you can also use attachment theory to get a better understanding of the core of the problem. Now that we're aware of some of the possible reasons for pushing people away as a defense mechanism, let's get into my first tip on how to stop pushing people away. Become aware of your negative self-talk. You know that little voice on the back of your head that keeps saying mean things to you all the time. That is your inner critic. It's the internalized voice of a parent, teacher, or primary caretaker. Someone who criticized you growing up. It's not you. When you push people away, you have this story running in the background, all these negative repetitive thoughts that keep going on and on. The problem is, you've been listening to them for quite some time, and it's gonna take a while to question their validity and reframe your mindset. But a good way to start is to simply become aware of your negative self-talk. Make it your intention every day to notice when these negative thoughts arise. You can even write them down so you know what you're dealing with. Here are some examples of negative self-talk specifically related to pushing people away. You may hear your inner critic say things like, "You can't trust him. He's gonna betray you like everyone else has done in the past." Or, "She's such a selfish person. She's looking out only for herself and is gonna leave me if I'm not successful." I want you to look for patterns. Do these thoughts come up when you haven't slept well or when you haven't taken good care of yourself? Is there a particular person who triggers you? Is it because they're pushing your buttons to get a reaction out of you? Or are you the one that's deliberately trying to push them away to avoid rejection and pain? When you're not being good to yourself, it's very difficult to not push people away. Ironically, pushing people away is actually a sign that you've rejected and abandoned yourself first. When you're constantly on the lookout for danger or betrayal, you're not being true to your core authentic essence. Your core is love. Your core is trust. Your core is vulnerability. I'm not saying that you didn't have a pretty good reason to close yourself off to the world. I get it better than you think. I couldn't cry for years. I felt like an outcast. I couldn't trust anyone. And I found that the world was a scary, lonely, hostile place for a very, very long time. But you know what I realized? You can live your life closed off and protected. Or you can take a chance on love and open up your heart again. You can trust yourself that even if you get hurt, you will be able to bounce back again. Trust that even if someone betrayed you in the past, not everyone's gonna do that in the future. Even if someone breaks your heart, you will be able to take all the broken pieces and put them together yourself. I'm currently working on something that's gonna change the way you relate to yourself and others. It's the first time I've ever done something like this, and I want to invite you to join the secret waitlist. If you want to learn how to heal the past, open your heart, and love yourself unconditionally, make sure to sign up for the waitlist by clicking the first link in the description box below or visiting bit.ly/thesecretwaitlist. My second tip on how to stop pushing people away is to regulate your emotions. Now that you've learned how to become aware of your negative self-talk, it's time to focus on emotional regulation. Pushing people away is often a sign of impulsivity, reactivity, and in many cases, strong and difficult to process emotions. Imagine yourself like a bucket. If your defense mechanism against getting hurt is pushing people away, then your bucket gets fuller and fuller to the point of spilling out when your emotions are at their highest. So what do you do when you get such intense emotions that you can't hold them in, or you feel like you're gonna burst? You learn to sit with them. Here's what you're gonna do over the next few days. I want you to pay attention to your emotions. Every time you feel a negative sensation in your body, I want you to notice how it feels. What is it? Where do you feel it the most? Can you breathe through it? If you want to truly learn to endure difficult emotions before doing something impulsive or lashing out at people, you need to learn how to sit with them when you're alone. So I want you to dedicate a few minutes every day to sit with your emotions. It's gonna be extremely painful and difficult to endure at first. Trust me, I know this firsthand. Facing my emotions was the scariest thing I've ever done, and I've done plenty of scary things in my life. I had this fear that my emotions would consume me, like a big black hole that I wouldn't be able to come out of. Luckily, it turned out that it wasn't the case. So if you're not sure how to sit with your emotions or you need more guidance on this topic, make sure to listen to episode 157 next. I'll leave a link below. My next tip on how to stop pushing people away as a defense mechanism is to choose a different way to meet your needs. When you're pushing people away, you're actually meeting a need in a maladaptive way. For some of you, that need is to feel safe and protected. For others, that need is to feel free and be able to breathe. Other needs you may be trying to meet by pushing people away are the need for love. If they love me, they will come to me. Or the need for attention. If I push them away, at least they'll notice me. So take a second and think about the need you're trying to fulfill by pushing people away. What are you actually trying to achieve here? Pause this episode if you want to reflect on that. Now that you're aware of the need that you're trying to meet by pushing people away, think of a healthier, adaptive way to meet that need. For example, if you need some space, you can tell the other person that it's not about them, and you will be there for them in a few hours. But right now, you need to take care of yourself and spend some time alone. Or if your need is for attention, instead of lashing out so that you can get a reaction out of them, you can say something like, "Hey, we haven't spent any quality time today. I feel a bit lonely. Would you like to hang out?" Meeting your needs takes guts. It's not easy to admit what you need, sometimes even to yourself. That's why it's important to be aware of the link between your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Now, instead of having to constantly think of these things, you can actually track them on paper. This will make it so much easier for you to remember and reflect looking back on your day. I've created a free cheat sheet that will help you do just that. If you want to download it, just click the link in the description box below or simply visit bit.ly/thoughtrecordtool. I also have a bonus tip for you. Be patient and gentle with yourself. Pushing people away has been one of your defense mechanisms for a very long time, and for a very good reason. It protected you back when you were little, and has probably helped you survive some pretty difficult moments. But it's important to know when it's time to let go of the past and move on. We can't keep repeating the same patterns over and over again and expect to see different results. So I want you to be patient, kind, and gentle with yourself throughout this process. It's gonna take some time, and that's okay. We're talking about years of negative self-talk and social programming that you need to get rid of. I know it may seem overwhelming at first. That's why I want to give you my tried and true formula for accepting and loving yourself for exactly who you are. So if you want to be the first to know, make sure to sign up for the waitlist by visiting bit.ly/thesecretwaitlist. Thank you so much for listening. If you found this episode helpful, please like it. And subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss out on my weekly podcast episodes. I'm sending you all my love, and I'll talk to you in the next one.